So the enemy of addiction is isolation, right? And so at the same time that we're having a mass response that says everybody go be isolated from one another, we had a patient population of upwards of 1,300 people that were at high risk for relapse, overdose, mass systems breakdown, because of that balance and that need for social isolation.
When the pandemic hit, initially I was worried about our doors staying open. I was worried that we were going to shut down the way everyone else did, and I was very concerned about the community. When I found out that we were going to stay open, I was worried about being able to accommodate everyone that was trying to come through the door.
That I thought, this is just unprecedented. We have never been in a situation like this before, and my main concern was, how do we continue to provide the services that we provide day to day in the best possible way for our patients? Concerned about their isolation, concerned about their recovery, concerned about their access to services, and what were we going to do if we couldn't see people face to face? And what would that mean in terms of planning, and what would that mean in terms of implementation? And how would we sort of plan for the long haul, since we didn't really know even then how long this would last?
It came to be that as we were trying to formulate how to meet the patients where they're at, make sure that they have their medications, it culminated in trying to do some social distancing, and all of a sudden, in a period of one weekend, out of our four outpatient clinics, we had to close 2 of them because we had staff with potential exposures. So in that moment, on a Sunday morning, we suddenly dropped to half our capacity. It became real.
When the pandemic started, I was just starting with treatment. So I just think 2020 is the year of the pandemic and the treatment for me. I was just hoping that it would end quickly, because I enjoyed coming to the classes, enjoyed the interaction.
What brought me to CODA was my husband and I were homeless in a minivan, and we had attempted to get sober through a 12-step program, and my husband was having a psychotic break, and before he went away all the way mentally, he grabbed me by the shoulders and he looked me in the eye and he said, "I can't stop. I'm using against my will." And I thought, oh my God, I am too.
I mean, the major thing for our patients was, are you going to go away like everybody else did? I mean, that literally was what was said over and over and over again. Like, my doctor won't see me for my elective surgery, and I can't get in to see my therapist because they shut down, and I don't have a phone and can't do that telehealth thing. And like, are you going to take the medicine away?
We've been able to provide a lot of support, because that was something that was really reduced in the community with losing NA meetings, AA meetings, any sort of recovery support groups, that we were able to still provide something. So they still have access to their medication, they still have access to nursing staff, they still have access to counselors when they need it.
I think the main keystone that we adapted was about being flexible and nimble to change according to what we needed to change. Policies, procedures, guidelines were all put into place, and then we began to implement telehealth. We did training on telehealth for us as leadership, learned how to do it, what the challenges would be, anticipated what the problems were. We worked really closely with our IT department to get all of the equipment that we needed and all of the platforms in place.
So with Oregon Health Plan and with some of the more infrastructure level policy changes that have been happening both on the national level as well as within Oregon, it's made it so that patients are able to access some technology which allows them to get their needs met.
A couple of difficult days where arguments at the house or whatever was sending me out. One day in particular sent me out I was looking to go use. And I called her up, my counselor, and she said, well, call anytime. So I did. If somebody gives you the tools, they say call anytime, most people will say, okay, sure, you mean that, but I'm not going to call anyway. It's just the way I think people sort of deal with it. But I says, well, fine. You want me to call? Here, I'm calling. And it worked.
Being able to have my appointment with my counselor on the phone or whatever in a meeting, WebEx meeting or whatever, that really helped me to time manage, and that was one of the hardest things, and I'm going to say it's the hardest thing coming out of treatment, was learning to time manage the real world, if you will.
I think telehealth is here to stay. It has been here before, and I think it's here to stay. And I think one of the benefits of it for us is that going forward, we likely will be able to reach far more patients, perhaps even in areas where we don't have a brick and mortar clinic, where we can talk to people and see them virtually, talk to them by phone, and provide recovery services and support to people that might not have had access before, that are in more rural or remote areas of our state. And that would be really an exciting opportunity for us at CODA.
Recovery is not just one aspect of life. It's not abstinence. What it is it's a whole way of living. And by changing us to look at a home setting that's more their home, emotionally, physically, whatever it is, it allows us to take in and look at recovery holistically as well.
Counselors in CODA have said things to me here in outpatient and while I was in treatment that just a tiny phrase or whatever that I'll take with me for the rest of my life and pass on to other people. CODA has been there as a solid base of operations for me to, like I said, to hone my recovery routine from a safe place.
So anytime someone has walked through our doors, they have to make a decision about, do I have the capacity to do this? And what has continuously just been awe-inspiring and really moving is every single one of the staff here just continually walking through the doors with this attitude of course.
Using telehealth, we hope that it really increases their ability to have easy and quick access, and that it really promotes their recovery. Once we added in the video capability, our patients really liked that as well. And then they got to have that person-to-person, eyeball to eyeball contact, which went a long way.
When people invite you into their home and into their lives through telehealth, you get to see all of the external contacts and the variables, what the stressors might be, where we might be able to provide a little bit more assistance and referrals to mental health resources or housing because of some struggles that we may be noticing in the background.
CODA seems to be working better because they focus on what's coming ahead rather than what was in the past. Because the past, there's nothing I can do about the past. I mean, I can try to forget it, but I can't. And the present is what I got to deal with, so, and I got a future to look forward to, But there is nothing I can do about what happened in the past, so I try to live in the present and hope for the future.